So 3 or maybe 4, I don't really remember, years ago, I was trying to teach myself web programming. I had an internship in Des Moines in IT, but it was like support, it wasn't programming. And I was working on my computer science bachelor degree and trying to get ready for that job interview for the full-time job that I knew was inevitably on its way. And I just remember being so completely overwhelmed trying to figure out like what I need to learn to get a job in web development, and like just how do I even like begin, because there's so many different things out there that it's like impossible for you to know, like, you know, which one's valuable and which ones are not. And I just kind of I remember like wishing that somebody could just like tell me like, okay, here is what you do. And so that's hopefully what this video is going to be. All right, so the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go out and learn HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. The great thing about these 3 languages is they're all very, very tightly integrated together. So it's almost impossible to learn everything about one without learning a little bit about the others. And basically, like, every single web page out there is going to use this to some degree. When you start getting into the back end stuff, there's a lot more out there for you to use, but every front end is going to use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So just go ahead and spend the time to learn those really well. The great thing about those is that there's like a million tutorials out there on how to learn this stuff. So it's really, you know, it's really easy to learn. And another thing is that you don't need to spin up a server. You don't need to like download and install any of this stuff. Like if you have Notepad, you make yourself a hello world.html file, you open it in your browser, and there's your first web page. From there, it's just, you know, typing stuff up. So that's definitely a really good place to start, and make sure that you spend a lot of time to learn that really, really well. As far as like where to learn this stuff, honestly, like, you know, you could spend money on like Treehouse or lynda.com Pluralsight, but honestly, everything that you're going to need is on YouTube. Like seriously, a lot of the same content creators that are on those, you know, learning platforms are also on YouTube. They just have like slightly different videos. Yes, the learning platforms are a little bit higher quality. Do you need that? And is that going to matter to you at this stage? No, just use YouTube, and just literally like run through tutorial after tutorial until you start to kind of wrap your mind around things. Okay, so now that you've learned those 3 foundational technologies, you essentially can make websites with that. If you were to learn nothing else from this point on, you could literally upload those files onto a server and you have a website. Obviously, it might not look great, it might not be super responsive, it's not going to have any functionality to it, but it is a website. And there's a lot of websites out there that are just that. They don't have any functionality to them. They literally are just a brochure or a static website. And that's what we call those. However, I remember being at this point, you know, in my learning, and just being like, okay, so now I know how to make websites, but how do I give them like functionality, like Facebook, for example, you know? How do I upload pictures? How do I make posts? Or how do I, like, you know, buy and sell stuff? Like, how does all that stuff work? Well, this next step is, the learning curve gets a little bit steep, but if you can learn these, you will know how to do like a large percentage of what you're going to need to know to be able to make like an e-commerce like storefront, or to make like a blog, you know, content management system. So the technologies you need to learn now are jQuery, PHP, and MySQL. jQuery is essentially an enhancement to JavaScript. It basically makes JavaScript more powerful and more easy to use. And it also, a lot of libraries out there, like a lot of JavaScript libraries out there, actually rely on jQuery. So you're going to need to know jQuery to be able to use a lot of the other libraries that are out there. PHP and MySQL, those work together to that's like the back end of web development, And that's what's going to let you like save, user profiles, upload images, make posts, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, jQuery, PHP, MySQL, and then the way that web front ends, like the website that you make with basic HTML and all that kind of stuff, communicate with the back end is through PHP. So the way that I learned PHP was I used a program called XAMPP, which is really great because you just download this thing and it basically comes with PHP and MySQL pre-installed with it, and so you don't have to configure servers or anything like that. You just download this thing, find yourself a YouTube tutorial on how to like make a page with it, and then boom, you're off and running, and you can use PHP and MySQL. All right, so once you have gotten to this point, congratulations, because you honestly know enough now to where you can actually go out and get yourself a full-time job. That's what this step is to go and get a full-time job. Because all this stuff that I just went over, that's all that I knew when I went into my job interview. And most of the questions that they asked in the job interview were all based off of that foundational stuff. They didn't ask like questions about like libraries and frameworks. It was pretty much all focused on foundational stuff. If I have a for loop that does this, then what happens down here, and that kind of stuff. So if you know all this foundational stuff, you know enough to where you can start looking for jobs, and you can start working on freelance projects and all that other kind of stuff. That being said, so the reason that you want to get a full-time job instead of just going straight into freelancing is because getting a job is like paying you how to learn. So even if your end goal is to be a freelancer at the end of the day, when you work for a company for even just like a few years, like you learn so much stuff, and you will get paid to do it. So that's definitely not something you want to skip out on. Regardless of what your plan is, I'm going to recommend that you go ahead and get a full-time job for at least a few years, so that you can get paid to learn that stuff. And then once honestly, like as soon as you want though, you can go ahead and start working on like side projects, because those are gonna enhance your skills. There's nothing wrong with that. Like there's some stuff that maybe your company doesn't let you work on or whatever, and so you just find some freelance projects that you can work on, so you can keep teaching yourself new stuff and not just restrict yourself to what the company has decided to use in their stack. All right, guys, so that's all that I got today. I love talking about this stuff, so if there is anything that you think I can improve on, or any questions that you have that you think I can answer, just go ahead and leave those in the comments, and thanks for watching. Okay, so the final step is to start a freelancing business. So I kind of touched on this a little bit in the previous step, a little bit more than I wanted to. So I just want to clarify. The first thing you want to do is to get a job, get a full-time job and work it for a few years no matter what. But at some point, it's a really good idea, both for your skill set and your finances, to start your own business. Starting a business is actually really, really easy. In most cases, all you have to do is just fill out a couple forms and submit them to the state. You might want to talk to an accountant and a lawyer and have your, people that know what they're doing and stuff that you can ask questions and to help you with things and all that kind of stuff. But starting a business is really not that difficult, especially if it's just going to be you, right? And the reason that you want to start your business for your skill set side is because you get to play with anything that you want to. So if you're at your company and they decide we're going to use this outdated framework for all of our apps, no matter what, right? That's great because it's really efficient. Once you learn that one, you can make apps a lot faster and da 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 da. But what happens if you see something better out there that you want to try? Well, your company may or may not let you use that new technology that's out there, and you might want to play with it. So having a freelancing business, you get to make all the decisions and you get to pick what languages and what frameworks and what everything that you do, right? No matter what, when you get a full-time job, there are going to be people that you don't like. There's going to be processes that you don't like. There's going to be decisions that you don't like. When you start a business, right, you get to make all of the decisions, and that is really, really cool because it might allow you to make, way better stuff and kind of unleash your potential a little bit more than your full-time job. So that's the skill set benefit. The other side of the coin is the finances. So a full-time job it's very secure, right? When you get a full-time job, you get like a 401k, you get health insurance, you get like a stable paycheck and all this other kind of stuff. However, for most full-time jobs, that paycheck is pretty limited, and even if it's good, it's still limited. Like you're only ever going to get raises that are 5%, 10%, or something like that. You're not generally going to be making like thousands and thousands of dollars off of what you make, right? Whereas when you start freelancing, and especially when you get really good and you're able to like solve businesses problems really well, you're able to like go after way, 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 way more money, right? Because basically you get to set the price. They're going to have a problem that they really, really want solved, usually a really like complex problem. And if you can solve that for them, there's almost like they're going to pay you a lot of money, right? So it can be a lot more lucrative, and the sky is almost the limit in terms of like how much money you can make once you start freelancing. So the two benefits are you get to play with any technology that you want to. You get to make all the decisions, and on the financial side, you can actually make a lot more money at the end of the day freelancing than you can working for a big corporation. So yeah. All right, guys, so that's all that I got today. Um, I love talking about this stuff. So if there's anything that you think I can improve on or any questions that you have that you think I can answer, just go ahead and leave those in the comments. And thanks for watching.